In the depths of the Black Forest, hiding away in a house made of poisonous mushrooms, there once lived a young witch. Although young, she had lived many times longer than humans who appeared her age. She had been living there alone ever since she was about half her current height. Recently, she's taken an interest in making medicine. Working in a flow with the steam to perform such a methodical task seemed to put her mind at ease. Her medicines were effective against many ailments, and selling them in the nearby town brought her some very welcome income. Minos asked Luna if they were heading into town, and she gestured a nod of affirmation. She poked his nose, changing him into a fully grown bull or cow, I don't know. But Minos would carry her wares. Once every 3 months, the two made conversation along their journey. Minos was particularly talkative in contrast to Luna's light responses. When they arrived, the people stared with shock and fear as every step Luna took left poisonous mushrooms behind her. Thus, she was known in town as the Champignon Witch. A mother would grab her child away, warning him to not touch the Black Witch's poisonous mushrooms. There are people whose skin rotted away with a single touch. Someone even died after accidentally eating one. Reaching the vest shop in town, because Minos wanted a nice fabric vest, the shop owner closed the door on them. The witch never felt comfortable here. She promised to make another vest for Minos herself, one that was nice and soft. A butterfly fell in Luna's presence, and the kids clamored about the witch's breath and skin stinking like poison gas. She hid herself in a big hat to hide her embarrassed look. Things had been like this for as long as she could remember, so it never made her particularly sad. It was just the way her body was. One vendor was happy to see her. He had just run out of her hair growth formula, so it was perfect timing. People said it worked well, so he asked her to bring a bigger batch next time. The apothecary was friendlier to the witch than most of the townspeople, as he depended on her pharmaceutical skills. But whenever she visited, he, of course, always wore his herb-infused mask. That's just the way things were. The witch loved the bookstore. Its owner was a descendant of both the humans and spirit worlds, so he was also somewhat understanding towards the witch. The townspeople were wary of strangers and outsiders, so he lived his life in human form. Noticing she was getting flushed from checking out his true form again, he asked that she please not, because he couldn't deal with her falling for him. He was glad she came though. It had been quite some time since her last visit, so the town's air was stagnant. Even just stepping outside felt depressing. But thanks to her visit, he could probably start venturing out again. It was because she absorbed the poisons in town today, as she always did. The way her body reacted to pollution by growing mushrooms that filtered out toxins never ceased to amaze him. She was surprised so many large mushrooms sprouted when she entered the town square, and the spirit speculated on why. Last week, there was a public execution there. The bookstore owner did not state this outright, but a public execution meant it was likely part of a witch hunt. Likely an acquaintance of the witch, and likely someone innocent. While this was still a small country, it was able to develop to the extent it had, thanks to the help of powerful magicians. To maintain control over that power across generations, the royal family chose powerful white witches as their queens. As a result, those who were loyal to the crown were known as white witches and wizards, and those disloyal were black. Thus began the Black Witch Hunt. The world was a difficult place for Luna, but because she could still sell medicine and buy her dearly beloved books in this human world, she had not given up on it yet. Beginning to store the books in her hat, the spirit asked her a favor. He picked up a very strange book that seemed to be under a powerful curse. Word is that many of the people who read it went insane and died. He couldn't even pick it up. With Luna's touch, vicious creatures came sprouting out, about to attack her, but she dismantled it into a mere tiny mushroom, eating it promptly. It tasted like that curse that killed around 150 people. Luna already knew that when she left the store, the bookseller would start vigorously wiping down everything she had touched with lye. Still, she was grateful he would wait until she left. Walking back, Luna and Minos noticed the apothecary was packed with ladies, clamoring to buy all the helpful medicine that she produced. Some spoke, wishing they could thank the person who made it, especially since it was sold at a price the common folk could afford. The town wasn't pleasant, but still offered unique moments like this that made her visits worthwhile. This was not something she'd see if she stayed hiding, alone in her forest home. It was her reward for having the courage to venture into the outside world. She took notice of a man passing by, hobbling as he could on crutches with his one leg. The apothecary would later tell her that he couldn't possibly sell medicine that grew legs back. If something like that actually worked, authorities would be breathing down his neck in no time. She would seek out the one-legged man, despite Minos telling her he probably wouldn't take her medicine. She saw a couple speaking loving words towards each other. It was the first time she saw people embracing and smiling like that. She didn't know what to make of it, because when anyone touched her poisonous body, they soon regretted it. Their skin would rot, and they'd stop breathing. The witch had never known the warmth of another's embrace. She knew this was known as romance, having learned it from her books. Luna inquired about the one-legged man at the bookstore, and the owner told her he'd keep an eye out for him. He asked what was up with Luna, and Minos explained what she saw with the boy and girl earlier. So, the owner recommended some popular romance novels he had on the shelf. Marino and Cece welcomed them home, asking for souvenirs. They were disappointed because it was the same as always, just books. But it wasn't her fault. Most shops wouldn't serve her. Reading gave Luna a way to escape the world she was stuck in. She could enter the world of a book and become someone else. The witch loved these moments when she could escape from her troubles. In the books, humans who looked like her but had no magic went on dangerous adventures or gave research presentations living through happiness and sadness. The witch used books to learn about many different life experiences. Minos asked if she was going to read the romance novel, and of course, love was one of those things out of her reach. The image of love was so beautiful though. Luna loved to draw, and Minos recognized her drawing as the boy they saw earlier today. To her, the boy she'd seen was more beautiful than the princes in her book's illustrations. The witch loved beautiful things, but was always scared that her poison would destroy that beauty. So, if she liked something, she would sear the image in her mind, draw it later, and save the drawings. It was one of her life's little pleasures. And sometimes, her pictures would take on a soul. The boy she drew smiled so brightly at her, asking her to dance. She poked Marino so she could ride on and reach her drawing floating out of her window. His hand was cold and light as paper, but it was still the first time Luna held someone's hand. Her heart felt so light. It was like she could fly to the moon. The dance exceeded her wildest imaginations, something that could only exist in books. Their serendipitous stroll in the sky contained more romance than all the love stories in the world. The wind would suddenly shoot gusts, blowing the paper, and Luna would reach the catch, falling off Marino, but landing on a mushroom she quickly summoned. Like the moonlight itself, that special night shone brightly in the witch's memory for the rest of her days. Strolling back to town on another day, Luna and Minos would spot the couple from before, and the girl kicked him down. The boy seemed different, as if the charm was sucked out of him, like an empty shell. The girl gossiped with her friends about how Henry turned out to be a total loser. Luna only now realized she must have ruined him. Pulling his essence out from her paper, she shot it back into Henry, and he sparkled brightly. Now, all the ladies were swarming around him, but he'd take notice of Luna and call for her. She'd run off as fast as she could, thinking she could never draw again. He wasn't sure why, but it's like he totally forgot she was a black witch. She just seemed like a nice, normal, pretty girl to him. He couldn't explain it, but next time, he wanted to try talking to her again. Henry would brightly greet her on a different day, and Luna looked around, unsure if he was actually talking to her. Not only was it very rare for someone to approach her without hostility, but she was also consumed by regret and guilt for what she'd done days before. The other folks were surprised he was hitting on a black witch. They thought he sure had stone, a hero amongst womanizers. Luna hid under her hat and floated away. He thought, dang, maybe next time. She came back, sprouting from a mushroom. Henry had been waiting and consoling Minos with food. Minos mooed, calling her a dummy for abandoning him. He apparently told Henry how shy she was, and he apologized for surprising her. She in turn told him she was just as sorry for running away and the other stuff she did to him. He knew it. It wasn't just his imagination. He remembered them dancing under a moonlit sky. He couldn't forget the way she looked that night. When he reached out, she got scared and summoned a mushroom to hide behind. She told him she was only able to touch the other night because it wasn't his real body. She didn't want to hurt him with her dangerous poisons. He was amazed. He heard rumors about the Champignon witch. Mushrooms really did sprout from everything she touched. She and the mushroom were so much cuter than he imagined. He touched the one she used as a shield, and seeing it didn't poison him, he told her it was very cute. This made roses sprout from her head. Watching Henry's continual flirting, the guys thought he was turning into one of those studs who had tragically bad taste in women. But his puppy dog-like charm is what hooked people. They wondered if things would be okay. His family was devoted to white witch fundamentalists after all, the loyal to the crown types. Although Henry wasn't like that. If one of his relatives saw this, there'd be hell to pay. He'd probably get chewed out. Outside of that, she'd end up on the witch hunt list at this rate. Some crows appeared from above, and observing them, a black-haired boy wondered what Luna thought she was doing. Henry wasn't so adept at magic, but having white witches in his family, he could tell they always looked down on him, so he in turn never thought too highly of them. It was refreshing that Luna didn't treat him that way. Even with all her poisons, his heart, even the air around him, felt like it's been purified. It's like her mushrooms washed away everything rotten around him. He wondered if that was part of her magic. Luna got teary-eyed, finally getting recognized for all the good she'd been doing by being here. Some men would shout, "There she is!" and she'd hide under her hat. One of the men asked Henry what happened to the black witch that was just here, and a crow swooped her away, with Henry chasing after, asking if he'd see her again. He wanted her to draw another picture of him. She woke up to Claude telling her, "Hey, get the hell up already." She was in the bookstore. Claude changed from crow to human form, asking what she was doing making a move on someone under the White Witch's protection in broad daylight. If the military police captured her, she wouldn't have gotten off easy. The store owner told Claude to hold up. He couldn't just barge into someone else's home and start ranting. The owner was happy Luna was delving into romance, even though Claude wasn't so happy about it. Crowboy was someone who always watched over Luna. He was the familiar of a great and respected wizard. For some reason, he was always very controlling when it came to her, but would help whenever needed. He told her she wasn't seeing that guy ever again, and if she did, he'd go straight to his master, because if something went wrong, it wasn't going to end with her just getting purged. It was going to involve all the black witches and wizards. That night at her home, Marino told Luna to draw a picture of the prettiest thing she saw in town today. Beginning to draw, tears poured down her face non-stop. Her hands moved on their own, and before she knew it, a drawing spilled out onto the page. She merely wished to retrace the words he said, the way he looked, and out from her drawing came Henry's smiling face. The Henry from the drawing couldn't speak, so he wrote in the air, "Thank you for drawing my picture again. I wanted to see you so badly, Luna, but don't I look a little messier than before?" She didn't intend to see him again. She thought if she drew him, it'd cause trouble for the real him, but if she drew him poorly, perhaps he wouldn't appear anyway. That's what she told herself. Even if it was an inanimate picture, she just had to see him again. She was sorry, knowing she shouldn't have, but seeing him made her so happy. He told her not to cry, even though her tears were beautiful. He'd rather see her smile. Like this, he couldn't even wipe her tears away. It frustrated him. She had tears in her eyes when they danced too. And again, when they were talking in town, he asked if he did something to upset her. She answered, no. Those were tears of joy. No one had ever touched her with such kindness before. It made her so happy, but also sad at the thought the moment would end. She's never known such joy before in her life. She was scared, even now, wondering how such ultimate joy could be so terrifying. Henry promised everything would be alright, that she'd continue to find joy in life. He wanted her to come to him and find what awaited beyond ultimate joy, to capture joy that wouldn't fade so easily. He wanted to find a way they could spend more time together. He wanted to be with her forever. She continued to draw him and spent her days at home with him. They spent evenings under the moon, lips touching in warmth. Unfortunately, the townsfolk would talk about how he's been bedridden for a while now. The doctors couldn't find anything wrong and didn't know why he was so gaunt. His family said they were going to appeal to the White Witches for help. Claude knew things were going to turn bad. Luna decided to take a break from drawing him, since he seemed kind of exhausted lately. Claude barged in and immediately scolded her. He told Luna to go see what she's done with her own eyes. In the night, she'd peer into Henry's room through a drawing he had of her. Only now could she see what she's done. Claude reminded her Henry was just human. She wasn't accounting for the toll her drawings took on him. When a witch with her kind of power pulled a stunt like this, it's just as the human said. This was all a black witch's seduction. Henry later woke up to Luna's mushrooms, and as they cried, they put him to sleep. Luna came out of her drawing and hovered over the boy she loved. Along with the poison, she drew from Henry's heart a mushroom that had grown out of his feelings for and memories of her. More beautiful and delicate than any mushroom she'd grown before. It was almost like a flower. The fact that his feelings for her had blossomed in his heart into something so beautiful gave her great joy. The witch etched that night into her heart, taking the mushroom away. Henry's friends would later flag him down, glad he looked good as new. When they asked if he got sick because of the Black Witch's curse, he asked what they were talking about. He had no idea. The days went by, and the march of the Black Witch Hunt grew louder and louder, while the witch herself made fewer and fewer trips to town, until one day, she'd find a mysterious boy passed out in the river with a dagger in his chest. Oh man, that was definitely a sad intro. I feel for Luna, but this world is set up for her not to succeed. Do you guys want me to keep covering this? Subscribe to keep up, but for now, watch this next video. It's me, Comfy T. I'll see you all in the next one.